like there's so much stuff here.
Yeah. So hi, what is your name?
It's Chris.
Chris, okay.
Chance, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I see you changed the jacket.
Yeah, I took the top one off. It's getting a little warmer.
Oh, right?
Don't look like a complete penguin anymore.
Yay.
Okay, so tell me a little about you and Chance, please.
Well, I've had him since like 4 years, and we started riding with Olivia maybe 2 or 3 months ago. Take like a lesson a week, and we're just like trying to get a little less thoroughbredy, giraffe-y, right, and just a little less spooky about stuff over there. It's like trailered in today. Trying to ride maybe an intro C or training level 1. So I think we're like trying to get him to be more subtle and a little more in the bit and a little more bendy and just like building some more muscle.
Yeah, perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
How old is he and how long have you had him?
13. He's turning 13 this year. I've had him for 4 years.
Okay.
Supposedly he did prelim eventing. I doubt it, but I think he knows things. I mean, but that could be because, like, you know, maybe I'm not fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it could be a little of both. It could, you know, sometimes they get rusty with that harder stuff and you have to, you know, be even more of an expert and push it a little more to get it out of them again, and then they suddenly remember. So
yeah, we haven't been doing them in well,
yeah,
probably since 3.5 years. Like I never got them, and then I just gave up.
So do you yourself or?
No, because he also doesn't really want to jump. He's very opinionated. Like I live, I call him an honest horse. He didn't do it right, you know, just like stops in front of the jump.
Okay.
So we just like do 100 paces and a little bit of dressage. We just try to look a little cute.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it would be nice to like get him a little more connected. So what I have the biggest issue with is like once he starts being like spooky and he has like his head up in the air to like kind of like get him back into the connection. And like ride him forward. Like I think there's like sometimes a little leg missing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
Are you German?
Yes.
Okay, I thought so. So it's in your blood to be a great rider. So
no pressure, right?
no pressure.
So I rode him for like 10 minutes out there in the field. He's normally a little bit stiff in the trot to start with.
Okay.
He gets better once he has cantered. So
Okay.
I think I should maybe just like trot once around the arena and maybe canter him in both directions so he has seen it all.
I think that's a great idea. So because I don't know you or him at all, you can kind of guide me on how it's best to get started with him. So that sounds like a great idea.
Okay, cool.
Does he have a better lead?
No, he's pretty good on both sides. Like cover in his hand.
That's fortunate.
Right?
Oh, okay. I'll do it for the next horse.
Hi, Gwen. How are you? He is like quite certain about something, he kind of like suckers back. So because I feel like he could like do a nicer trot than now.
Oh, for sure. We will we'll work on the trot more after he's cantered.
Okay.
For now, I mean, the initial thing I see is that he needs more inside bend on the circles especially. And if he tends to get distracted, I would keep him more on a circle. than the straight lines. The straight lines kind of tempt him to look outside the arena. So you want him to keep focusing inward. Yeah, that's better. So whenever you're ready, you can canter. That's better. Looks like he has a pretty comfortable canter.
He does. But he's like still, I think he's a bit nervous. Maybe we'll both.
Yeah, it can be hard to get control of the nerves, but you don't need to worry. We're no negative judgment here. We're just trying to improve. So let's see the canter on the other lead when you're ready. So when you change direction, you start a large circle to the left and keep his focus inside the circle with your left rein and leg. Good. Good, that's better there. So oftentimes if you have the forward and then you have the bend, then they'll often soften down on the bit for you from those two happening. So it's, if you ride those correctly, then you're on the right track and you don't need to do too much trickery to get him on the bit. So there was like plenty of strides in there where he started to soften a little more down on the bit. So trot, canter, trot transitions are super beneficial for all horses. I think definitely for this horse. So we're going to do a few more each way before we go on. So the way that the horse uses its pelvis and its lower back in the canter and the trot is very different. So making them alternate between the two will get them looser in the back, which will help them come on the bit.
Okay.
Yep, so focus on your bend in the trot. Good, that was a good depart. And canter at least a whole circle before trotting again. And watch with his inside eye. And you want to keep it in the same spot, and that's the job of your left rein, that you can see it a little bit to the inside. Yeah, and that was a better downward.
So how long do you trot then?
Long enough until he feels good, like good in the forwardness and the bend, and then you go to the canter again. So it might be only a few strides, it might be 2 circles, it just kind of depends. So I'll let you know. So just keep trotting until I tell you, okay, now you can canter again, all right? So more forward here, so he needs more impulsion. Good, and then you add a little more bend from your inside leg, inside rein. So every time you sit in the post, I want you to push him, squeeze a little bit with your inside leg. And that will help initiate the bend. And you watch that inside eye, and the job of your inside rein is to keep the inside eye in the same place. And that's called flexion. The portion of what you can see in front of the saddle is the flexion portion of the bend. And under the saddle and behind it is the job of your legs.
So you need more legs?
Yeah. So when he's not bending enough, it's more inside leg, and you have a good position of your leg.
Okay.
So that's a good place to start. All right, that looks pretty good. Good. Just a little bit more forward trot. Do you ever ride him with a whip? Just because, so that you're not working too hard to get him to be as forward as he needs to be, you can just give him a little touch if he's making you work too hard,
Yeah.
Okay. So a little bit more left rein, left leg for more bend. Every time you sit, you push with that left leg. Good, good, that looks better. And then you can canter again. Good. Yeah, the bend looks better in the canter. So keep cantering. Every stride, you're going to give him a little push with that inside leg in the canter also. And that's just to ride the bend and the impulsion. Good. You feel how he got a little bit softer down on the bit for a few strides there? So it starts with that inside leg. And it finishes with the position of the reins. Good. That was some good strides. I think he's used to you cantering a shorter amount of time though. So he went, I think it's about time to stop.
Should we go the other way?
Yeah, let's go the other way.
Well, that's a good exercise. Like, I think if I do that often enough.
Yeah, it's a simple one, but it's really good for the horses. And it's like something that you can never get too perfect. Like, you know, a lot of the top dressage masters, they still do a lot of those in the warm-up for the Grand Prix horses.
Okay.
So it's something that you take all the way up the levels. It's just good for them.
Like working out with stamina.
Exactly. Yeah. And so it's not like you go, oh, I do a circle and then I trot. I do a circle and I trot. It's a matter of feel. You go, okay, this feels good. The bend is good. He feels good in the bit. He's in front of my leg. I'm going to go another half a circle or a circle with this feeling, and then I'm going to trot. And then I'm going to get the feeling in the trot, and then I've got the green light to canter again.
Got it.
Yep.
Do you want us to trot again?
Yeah. Yep, so step one is the forwardness. So no less than that. Keep the energy up like that from your legs. Good. And then step two is the bend from your right leg, right rein. So see how the right rein, it was skipping a little bit in the tension. It was kind of going tight, loose, tight, loose. You want to keep it steadier with a light amount of tension.
Okay.
Because only from consistency with that rein will he keep a consistent positioning to the right. Yeah, so focus on the feel of that right rein, that you're keeping it consistently tight. Good, yes. Feel that moment there where he flexed a little more to the right. Yes, so you keep it there. Good. And now you can canter. So that's, oh, he found something to be distracted about. But that's okay. Good for you. Well, these two things, the forward and the bend to the inside, are going to keep him more focused. The more you work on it, it's like constantly telling him to pay attention inside the classroom instead of looking out there.
Looking outside, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so you can even exaggerate it when he's wanting to be distracted and look out at something. Yeah. You might take your right arm back a little further and push him harder with your right leg, or even give him a little kick with your inside leg. You make him go, pay attention to the inside. Yep, so keep the same tension on the right rein. That's better. Okay, and then canter. And the same thing in the canter. The same tension on the right rein. Good. And you push your right leg, yes, by the girth. Good. That's better. Yeah, and a little extra. Exactly. Good job. You go, nope, we look in here. We look even further in here when you want to look outside. Good. So one more time, because I know he broke there. So we have to pick up the canter again, and then you ask for the trot transition. Good. And look for his right eye and make it visible with your right hand. Good. Yeah. Good job. That's plenty. Yeah, he always wants to do it right there, doesn't he?
Yeah. So get him past there.
Yeah. So let's try one more time. And the goal is going to be to get past that spot. And you can ask him to trot somewhere over on this side of the circle.
Got it.
Good. So you're going to go all the way around once. Good. Every stride you push that right leg and you squeeze that right rein. Yes, especially here when you know he's going to break. Good job. And then you can trot. Balance, squeeze your core. Good. And then let him walk a minute.
Walk him in.
Good job. You really are German, aren't you? Because you've got a really nice seat. And when you know what you're supposed to do, you're very effective.
Good.
So that's very good.
Well, at least he's waking up now.
Yeah. So he's a thoroughbred, was he? Did he ever race?
Yeah, but he lost. But you don't tell him now.
Well, it's very positive that he canters both leads well. 'Cause some of those racehorses, they only do the left lead and they really struggle with the right lead.
Yeah.
So you'd like to maybe do a schooling show at some point and do like intro C or maybe training 1. Good. So how is he about cantering on the long side versus just a circle? Okay.
Might be taking up the pace a notch.
Yeah.
He might jump sideways, I mean. You know?
Well, the main difference between doing intro C or training 1 is the training 1, you do have to do a long side and a circle.
Okay.
And intro C is only a circle.
Right.
So we can see that you can do the circle.
Yeah.
So I don't see why you can't do intro C.
Okay.
But I'm curious to see how you do with a long side.
Well, we can go to go. Should we go to go?
Yes. So the pattern I'd like for you to do is to start on this end and make a circle down here, a 20-meter circle, and then do half the long side. Go to E and do another circle, E to B and back to E, and then the rest of the long side.
Okay.
So you break it up. They don't usually make you do more than like a half a long side at a time at training level. And it's because the circle helps the horse get their balance back if they've started to run on the long side.
Got it.
Good. So think about your bend when you're on the circle. Look for that right eye. Good. And then straight. Good. And circle. So circle down there and pick up the canter again and try it again. So you'll do a canter circle there, and then you're going to start to circle at B, right across from me after you do the first half of the long side. Yep. Good. So keep your leg on. Good. And circle. Good. Yeah, you can do it. And then up the long side again from B to the circle on the far end. Yeah. Good. And then trot somewhere on the circle, wherever you choose. Yeah, good. Okay, let's change direction and do that the other way. Show me a diagonal in the trot.
Okay.
So remember to keep the contact, keep a feel on both sides of the bit. Good. And then you pick up the canter on a circle down there, and the same pattern this way. So one circle down there, and then you'll come up the long side. Good. Yep, and you keep him looking inside and straight, and then start to circle at E. Good. You got it. Very good there. He's coming on the bit there. You feel that?
Yeah.
There you go. Go straight and circle at A and trot somewhere on the circle. Good. That was very good. Take a short walk break. He got better as he went along, and that trot downward was your best. He was on the bit.
I'm feeling like he's waking up now.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't see why you couldn't do, you can easily do intro C and do training level too.
See, they make him like these two things.
Yeah. So yeah, with the hunters and stuff, sometimes they do a lot of classes in a day. With dressage, we usually just do 2, 1 to 2, depending on how much energy the horse has. But yeah, I don't see why you couldn't do that goal of going for training 1, maybe even training 2. So he's a pretty straightforward horse, and you're quite a nice rider, so it's just a matter of continuing to focus on him being respectful of your leg aid. He stays taking you forward, not that you're like having to beg him all the time. Yeah. Sometimes be a little longer when you give him a walk break. You want to give him a little more freedom to really just stretch out and be off the hook for a minute. And then if he's not the kind of horse that like hates the whip and gets nervous, I might carry one, because it's good to have it and not need it. You don't have to use it, but they know when you're carrying it that they can't mess with you too much, you know?
Yeah. I'm impressed that he isn't like high as a kite. He hasn't been here before, so that's good.
Oh, so Olivia comes to you? Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't know anything.
He's being very good. So another good thing is that even though he's not always what we call on the bit yet, like not quite like round enough with his neck and over the back, even when he's getting there. At times he does get there. When you've got the forward and the bend, then he starts to chew the bit and soften. But even when he's not there, it doesn't look bad for intro and training level either, because he's not like sticking his head straight up in the air like a camel, you know? Yeah. So you're coming from a good place to start with him. Yeah. Okay. So when you're ready, we're gonna work on the trot a little bit more. So for your homework, that pattern that we just did in the canter where you do a circle, a straight, a circle, a straight, a circle, and always trot, do the downward transition on the circle. You don't want to teach him to anticipate that he's going to break to the trot on the long side or on the short side. Basically, if you're on the rail, don't do the down transition. Wait till you're somewhere like on an open side of a circle. Because in the test, it seems like it doesn't make sense, but in a test, they always want you to do it by a rail somewhere. And if the horse is predicting that he does it by the rail, then he could do it where you don't want it. And you want him to almost predict that he's not going to do the downward, because you can always get him to do it if you want it. You know?
It's not always pretty, but it's
yeah. But it's tough when they go, I think I'll stop now, out of nowhere, and then your score is totally screwed. Okay, so a little bit more forward. This isn't bad, but in order for him to really come on the bit, he needs to push a little bit more from behind. Yes, that's better energy. So now, like I said, your posture is quite good and your seat is good, but you have a little bit of a jumper look to you, like you get just a little bit forward with your upper body and your arms are a little bit straight. So we want you to start to have more of a bend in your elbow and center your weight back more towards your tailbone in your upper body. That's better. Yeah, then you need more leg, because just that posture helps put the horse on the bit. So yeah, look at that. So now he's on the bit. So if you have him in front of your leg and then you enclose him a little in the bridle with that more dressage rider posture, he comes on the bit. So Olivia's absolutely right. He's an honest horse. If you ride right, he's going to do it, which is awesome. That's a gift. Yes, good. Yeah, you should never throw them away in dressage. It's always like each rein is like a phone line to eat that side of his mouth, and you can never just abandon him on it. It should be lightly connected all the time, and you should feel the connection go all the way up your arm to your elbow, up to your shoulder, from your shoulder down your back to your seat, down to your leg. It's like the whole thing is connected. Good. Very good. So change direction. The next time you cross the center line, you're going to change direction to the right and push him out to the rail. So you're going to hit the rail on the other side. So you turn right, and with your right leg, you push him to the rail. Good job. So you want to make your turns like that when you change direction. You don't want him to fall onto the new turn. You want to have the feeling, I'm turning this way, but my leg says don't fall this way. Your leg says you're pushing him a little away from the turn. Does that make sense? Because if you don't have that new inside leg on, he will just fall like a barrel horse through the turn. Good. There, he's lovely right there. That should feel pretty good. He's on the bit.
Does he just? I feel a bit slow. Is he a bit slow?
I wouldn't go any slower than this. The only adjustment I was going to make was that you see if you can get a little bit more forward. And I think if you just carry a whip, it'll make the difference. If you want, we can try it now, or you can try it at home where you feel more comfortable. It's up to you. Yeah, give him a short walk. Are you right-handed or left-handed?
Right-handed.
Okay, then I would hold it in your right hand so that you have more control over it.
And just like keep it there, then switch it?
I would just keep it in your right hand for now.
Yeah.
So the proper way to hold it is positioned so it's over your thigh, that it's not dropping straight down here.
Yes.
Because then you can't hit him there, for one,
No.
and for two, it makes your wrist in this terrible broken position. So, yeah.
Like try and keep it there?
Yes.
Alrighty, let's try this.
And then all you have to do is just flick it with your wrist to touch him on his hindquarter.
My forehead was burning.
Yeah. There, he looks like he has more motivation already. Good. So now we're talking. So keep thinking about your more dressage posture, that your elbows are a little more bent toward the points of your hips. Yes, like that. And that you feel like in your post, like you are swinging your hips forward in the post instead of just up and down. Yes. It's like every time you lift up, you're just swinging your hips forward.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a big difference between like a jumper post and a dressage post. That you keep your butt more underneath your shoulders. Yes. That's good. And if you ever feel like you're working too hard with your leg, just give him a touch with the whip and it will wake him up. Yeah. Great. That should feel pretty good.
It does.
Good. All right, so let's do a little bit of transitions now. We haven't really looked at those much yet in the walk and the trot. So when you're ready, come to the walk. You want to keep everything the same. The contact, the bend, the energy. So that's a good energetic walk. So we're going to go back and forth between the walk and the trot now. And you can just stay on this 20-meter circle. By the way, you're really good about riding your geometry, your 20-meter circle. You're not like wiggling all over the place. That's good. Okay. So when you're ready to go back to the trot, all you should have to do is close your calves on him, and if he doesn't trot right away, you touch him with the whip. Good. And then walk again. And keep your leg on a little bit as you come to the walk. Yeah. And then trot again. Keep your bend, because you lost your bend a little bit. Now that you're thinking about your transitions, you stopped riding your bend. So look for that right eye with your right rein. Good. There, you've got it. And then walk and keep the right eye in your sight as you come to the walk. Yeah, and then back to the trot and keep the right eye with your right rein. Good. Good, and then walk again and keep the right eye and your right leg on. It's better. And then trot again. So you're not spending a very long time in the walk. That helps wake him up too. That you just walk a few steps and then you trot again. Good. This is good. Keep your right elbow a little bit more fixed back at your side. It likes to move a little bit.
Or not.
All right, one more time. Come to the walk. Keep the right elbow at your side. Good. And then trot again. Keep it at your side. Yeah. So you have to be able to keep your arm in the same spot. I mean, sometimes kind riders like you, like I think you're not the type of rider that's getting mad and doing anything unfair to him. So when you're a kind rider, sometimes you think it's kindness to be kind of floppy and loose with the contact, but you'll only get so far that way. So I don't want you to pull back. I just want you to meet him in the middle with, like, you have to be able to set with your posture like, I want you here. And you just have to meet me there, horse. Like, not like pulling him, but if your reins are short enough and you set your posture firmly, like, then he will stay in the right place that will get you good scores ultimately when you ride.
Okay.
There's a time and a place to like loosen the contact on purpose to give him like a reward. Like say you just did something really awesome with a lot of nice inside bend and you want to give him a pat on the neck for a second with your inside rein. Like that's great. But it should be just for a second when you've really confirmed that he's really staying on the bit and bending for you. And you go, good job. And it gets lighter for a second. So,
Do that the other way around?
yeah, let's do it the other way. The walk trot transitions.
But he is waking up. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you feel okay with the whip in your left hand too? Okay, good. It's really good to be able to hold it in both hands, but you know, if you start to, some people can't, and they need to keep it in their dominant hand, or else they get to where they're like it's moving around where it shouldn't be, and then the horse is disturbed by it, you know?
Yeah.
Good. Good. A little bit more trot. So ask him first with your leg. Yeah, well, he reacted. He's like, I don't need that whip touch now. Okay, and then walk again, keeping your inside bend. Good. And then trot again. A little bit more energy in the trot. There. So you get the energy, and at the same time, you work on that more back and tall upper body posture and the more bend in the elbow, and then he comes on the bit. That's good. Very good right there. And walk. Perfect. Good job. And then trot again. But he has to go forward into that posture. When he goes forward in the upward transition into your posture that's nice and firm like that, then he steps onto the bit in that first stride. Good. So walk again and try that again. Keep a little more left rein. Yes. So you see how that one, he didn't like pop his head up or get inconsistent or anything. So you really rode him from back to front through your posture there. So one more time, try that. Yeah, a little more left bend. And that one had the little pop, so we're gonna do it again. Just a little more left bend in the walk before you trot. Yes, there, that's the difference, right?
Yeah.
He gets a little bit rigid when he's not got enough bend. They all do. And then it's more prone to brace the top line against you. So walk and do that one more time to make sure it wasn't a fluke. So left bend. Yes. Left rein, left leg, and then trot. Yeah, see, that's the key. Good job. Does he stretch in the trot at all? Do you ever like post and let the reins get longer and see if he'll reach down? Let's post and keep your hands quiet. Good. And just keep circling. He likes to be a little bit rude and tug on you, but so shorten the reins again and keep trotting. So you'll have to maybe push a little extra with your leg as you shorten up the reins so that he doesn't think you're stopping. Good. On the bit again. Bending left. Left leg, left rein. There, you've got him. Okay, so from there, I want you to very gradually start letting the rein longer on your outside hand. Just the outside hand. Let it a little longer. Good, and keep circling and keep squeezing the left rein to keep him looking left. Good. And then let the inside rein a little longer. Good. And your hands a little wider and lower because you want him to get a little lower. So keep touching in with your left hand down low. that you touch his mouth and tempt him to want to drop on the bit in that lower place. Yeah. Yeah, good. That's better. That's better. That's better. And then walk just from your seat, no reins. You just sit and you think back to front with your hips until he walks. Yeah, good job. Very good. So that's going to be something that you'll need to do in training level, is called a stretch trot circle. So that's something to start to work on. And it's best to work on at the end of a ride like that, when they're completely loose. They're maybe a little tired, so they kind of like to stretch down, you know. So you set yourself up for success that way. Almost no horse does it well in the beginning of the ride, so you don't even go there. Just wait till the end and try that. So I let the outside rein out a little bit more than the inside rein, like I directed you to do, so that you maintain the inside bend. Yeah. If you just drop both reins, then the horse stops bending, and it's just like, oh, I'm free to just put my neck like wherever and look out the window at the person walking by, and you know. So you want them to still keep looking inside the classroom. Because when you're letting the reins longer, it's really a dangerous moment, as far as like, it gives them the freedom to lose their focus. So you want to be like, keep a little focus on that inside rein while you do it.
I really like that, like, trot canter transition exercise, and the long rail.
Yes, definitely keep working on all this stuff.
We need a little more stamina, I think, both of us.
Yeah, well, I could tell from your first canter circles that you both have like a bit of a timer, like on how long he canters for, and then he trots again, you know? So you need to make that time a little longer with the exercises like that, the circle, the long side, the circle, the long side.
Great. Oh, this is great, thank you.
You're welcome, really good job. I think you're really a talented rider, so you should keep after it. That was a huge difference, like, and he's a good horse. Like, when you were doing it right, like really riding more like a dressage rider, he's like, okay, yeah, I'll meet you there and do it. So, oh, absolutely, because the dressage helps everything. So, yeah. You're welcome. Yeah, you're a good boy.